Hi, I'm Rusty Komori, and this is Beyond the Lines on ThinkTech Hawaii. I was the head coach of the Punahou School boys varsity tennis team for 22 years, and we were fortunate to win 22 consecutive state championships. This show is based on my books, Beyond the Lines and Beyond the Game, and it's about leadership, character, and creating a superior culture of excellence. My special guest today is the head coach of our University of Hawaii women's golf team. She is Coach Julie Brooks, and today we are going beyond golf. Hey, Coach Julie, welcome to Beyond the Lines.
Thank you, Rusty, so much. It's such an honor to be on your show. Quite honestly, it's fantastic.
Coach Julie, you are a fantastic person, a woman of great character. I'm so happy that you're head coach of our women's golf team. And can you share a bit about your background?
Sure, I would love to. I originally wasn't really a golfer. I played multiple sports growing up and found my way back into golf. I was an assistant. My first coaching stint was as an assistant at Cal. A friend of mine knew the Cal coach and talked her into letting me be a part of the team as a volunteer. I was there for 2 years and we did great things. And then I needed to get my degree. I did not have my bachelor's. And you have to have a bachelor's if you're going to be a coach. And so I came back to Hawaii and I helped out at the University of Hawaii while I was going to HPU. And from there, I got my degree, and the UC Irvine job opened up shortly after. And I was the head coach there for 16 years.
And Coach Julie, did you go to Punahou School?
I did go to Punahou School, K through 12. I'm a 13-year kid.
Wow, that's incredible. And Coach Julie, I want to ask you, what is it about golf that you love so much?
I love that it's physically challenging, and I love that it's mentally challenging. You have to have the combination in order to succeed. It's not just hitting the ball far, it's great to hit the ball far. However, you really need to be mentally engaged and focused during your round. So to be able to combine the two challenges, that's really for me it makes it so awesome.
Now, who's a professional golfer that you admire?
On the women's side, Lizette Salas has always been one of my favorite players. She went to USC. I believe she was a four-time, she might have been an All-American for 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. But she embodies the character, the leadership. She's just an awesome person. I've had her talk to my UC Irvine team. She spoke to my UC Irvine team actually during the pandemic. I just value her knowledge and her character, her integrity. It's just tremendous. The way she holds herself on the golf course, the way she presents herself is just second to none.
Well, a terrific role model for sure. And Coach Julie, how would you describe your University of Hawaii women's team's identity?
Their identity, they're a young bunch. I have 2 seniors, 3 sophomores, a junior and a freshman. Their identity, they're a dedicated bunch. They're very involved in the process of becoming better players. And they're really good kids with good character. So they have a few very good, their identity is of, both character and hard work.
Oh, I love hearing that. And Coach Julie, tell me about your coaching philosophy and what are some of your top priorities as coach?
Yeah, my philosophy is really dealing with the human. Obviously there they're coming to UH as student athletes, but I like to deal with them in terms of who they are as a human. So it's more of an all around, getting to know the player, getting to know what they strive for while they're here, both academically and athletically, but also what do they want to do with their lives, and how can I help them achieve that, whether or not it's becoming a professional or not, it doesn't matter. What are they passionate about? So my philosophy is really to get to know them as a human being, and not just, oh, you're here to, win championships and you have to win at all costs type of thing. That's not my that's not my thing. And I hope to build on what Stephen has built here. Excellence. Obviously they were co-champions last year in the Big West. And to continue to build on that, but also to build on who they are as human beings.
I love that you said that, Coach Julie, because when I was coaching, my number one priority was to develop champion athletes of character first, and then great tennis players second. And that's exactly what you're doing. And, people often say when you play sports, it prepares you for life's challenges. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. And golf is a great example because there's so much adversity. We're never playing the same conditions. The basketball net or the basketball rim is up, it's always the same height. They're not going to change that. The volleyball net is at the same height. They're not going to change that. But for us, we're dealing with the wind, cold, the heat, the grasses, all different kinds of grasses. So the adversity in golf is tremendous, and what they're learning to how they're becoming more resilient through golf is going to help them in life later on when they graduate, for sure.
So Coach Julie, let's explore that a little further. I want to ask you, how do you help your players with their mindset?
It's really helping them understand, kind of the big picture of golf, the everything that needs to go into becoming a good player. A lot of times sometimes we work on drives too much or chipping too. You can never work on chipping too much, but I think helping them understand the whole game, that's really going to help them with their mindset on the course, and having the ability to have more resilience on the course. All aspects of the game have to be practiced, but then there's the creativity part that also needs to be that I need to bring out in them, so that when they're in kind of awkward spaces on the golf course, the creativity part kicks in, and they're not just kind of robot golfers. The creativity is essential to becoming a good player. And then their mindset gets better and better from that point on.
So Coach Julie, when I was coaching tennis, I would help my players develop a routine before serving and a routine before returning serve. Do you help your players develop a routine?
Yes, absolutely. There's actually a pre-shot routine and then a post-shot routine. The post-shot routine is sometimes hard to help them with because they're reacting to a shot that might not be very good. But if I can continue to help them with their reactions to shots, that's almost the more important routine versus the pre-shot. But in the pre-shot routine, we do things like timing the routine to make sure that it's the same, give or take a couple of seconds every time. I don't know if that's something you did in tennis, but it's very helpful so that when they're under the gun or they're near the lead or they're about to shoot the score of their life, they can make sure that, okay, my driver is 30 seconds. That's my routine. I got to stick to my 30 seconds.
No, that's so good. Yeah, totally. There's so many similarities in terms of preparation and routines there. And Coach Julie, how do you help your players deal with if they have a bad hole, if they double bogey and then another bad hole, double bogey again? It's hard to recover. And so how do you help them with their mindset to be resilient and to have present focus?
Yeah, it's really it's being there for them, first of all, to say, hey, okay, it's over with. Let's move on to this next shot, because there's more than likely a next shot or two or many, right? Depending on what hole they're on. Hopefully it's not coming on, the doubles aren't coming on 17 and 18. But if they have more golf to play, it's really just making sure that they understand that I'm there for them, and I'm being supportive, like, hey, we have more golf to play. So let's just take this next shot and make this the most important shot of the day, and let the rest, it's over. There's nothing we can do about it but learn from it. And that has helped. Sometimes I will tell them, hey, you got 5 holes left. You have a little 5-hole mini tournament. So let's go even par or 1 under for these next 5 holes in this little tournament, 5 holes.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's really controlling things that you have control of and really not worrying about things beyond your control. And Coach Julie, I want to ask you about emotions. How do you help your players control their emotions?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think it's really a perspective thing. I try to help them understand the perspective of you just hit a poor shot. I get that, but it's really not the end of the world. And it's a matter of, okay, let's focus on the next shot, because the next shot might be the best of your life. A good example was one of the girls at Hawai'i this last week that we played last week, Monday. She wasn't starting off great, but then on 18, she holed out for eagle on a par 5, and that started her going for the rest of, pretty much the rest of the round, which was awesome. So with golf, trying to maintain just steady, very even keeled emotions is a good way to play. And if you are one that kind of goes up and down, it's just, I'm trying to teach perspective and just say, hey, okay, it's over. Let's move on. And just try to keep a very even keel way of being on the golf course. But it is a hard one to teach.
No, I totally agree with you. And Coach Julie, I want to talk with you about my books. Ryan Tanaka, the owner of Giovanni Pastrami, is donating both of my books to your entire team. In the books, I talk about emotional awareness, which, how can you help yourself be more aware of your emotions and be aware of the emotions of others around you? And then how can you help your team do the same? Tennis and golf obviously are individual sports, and it's so special when we're able to be on a team. And I want to ask you about how you are building your culture of excellence with your team.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a daily thing. It's reminding the girls of, what a special opportunity it is to play collegiate sports, to be a student athlete. And it's really about being grateful, and understanding that so many people like yourself, like Ryan, really, and the community really, really are behind us and are supporting us. So it really starts with gratitude, saying please and thank you, and really understanding that so many people want to help, including, the department, the athletic department. So I pretty much start with that. We've talked about what we're grateful for. And then it's down to the details, very much like what you spoke about at the event the other night, getting down to the nitty gritty details. and that's what I talk about when we do course management sessions. We did one the other day, and I told them exactly what you were talking about. It's if we do the little things well, we will go far and we will shoot great scores. But we have to do it every day, and we have to be and awareness has to be our number one thing in order to be successful. So just chipping away at it every day, hopefully that's getting ingrained in them. So.
No, I totally agree. It's all about the little things, because I always say little things matter, because little victories matter and little victories lead to big victories. And I want to ask you about self-discipline, because I know that self-discipline leads to habits, which lead to success. What are your thoughts about the importance of self-discipline?
Yeah, it's funny you brought that up. There's a gentleman named Scott Fawcett. He runs an app called Decade. That's his number one thing. It's not self-discipline, but it's discipline. And without discipline on a golf course, he basically says you have no shot at success, and he's probably right. And his example of discipline is Tiger Woods. And so it's really the key. He has proven over the years with as many shots that he can pull up to show that Tiger doesn't always aim at a flag, and that very often he will aim away from a flag, knowing that everyone else will aim at the flag and not come out successful. But that is his number one thing. And we talk about it. It's hard with a 20-year-old, though, to convince them to not aim at a flag.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it is challenging working with college students or teenagers, but discipline is so necessary for success. And Coach Julie, what do you do to enhance team bonding off the golf course?
Well, we have a group that loves food. So in fact, just the other morning, Friday morning, we did a team breakfast. Most of our bonding is around food, but it also is on the golf course. We went to play Turtle Bay, and we had a fun match play day. So we drew names, and that was fun. But that is also, really, it's a great spot to do team bonding. It's on the golf course. But food is definitely something that we all enjoy, and that really brings us together. Snacks and team breakfast or team dinner. We're all about the food.
Well, speaking of food, last week we're all at Giovanni Pastrami's in Waikiki for the big Brotherhood Grinds and Sisterhood Grinds Hawaii men's and women's golf team event. And what was the impact and experience like for you and your team there?
It was overwhelming, really, to see the support. I think the girls were like, wow, this is, I think they had an idea of what it might be, because we had been to Giovanni's before with the men's volleyball team. But this was at a different level, bringing in, various companies, whether it be food or, banks or CPAs. The career exploration part was something that I think they kind of were nervous about. But once they got in and were talking to folks and understanding the whole process, I think they were blown away.
No, and it was so great to have so many community leaders there. And Ryan Tanaka is the one that started Brotherhood Grinds and Sisterhood Grinds. I was there at that first initial meeting with me, Ryan, and Coach Timmy Chang. And how is Ryan helping you and your team with the NILs, or just with recruiting or just building things off the golf course?
Yeah, well, these events are really the cornerstone to helping us with recruiting. Girls, on the team would be able to tell recruits, hey, we're not just here, for golf. I mean, we are here for golf, but they care. The community cares about developing the whole student athlete while in school and beyond. And that's the part that is so awesome, is what Ryan is doing to help the girls with what they can do in the future, what their plans are, what their passions are. It's priceless, quite honest. And so the girls understand that, we're here to develop you as a student, as an athlete, but we're also here to help you with the future, because, you're here for 4 years and then you're gone. And we want you to succeed. And here are some folks that can help you succeed, hopefully faster than they did. Rose from Kolohe is a great example. She graduated from college, 2 years ago, and she's a successful businesswoman. That is for our team to be around somebody like her is unbelievable.
Yeah, and now tell me what happened when you went next door to Rose's jewelry store, Kolohe. What did your team and Rose do for you?
Yeah, so Ryan had arranged for the girls to go to Kolohe and the men to go to Kahala, and they were going to pick out a shirt for Scott Simpson, and then for me, they were going to pick out a piece of jewelry, which they did a fantastic job. They know I love pearls, and so I was there. I was trying not to watch or pay attention, but Rose worked with all the girls and one of the gals in her shop as well, and they designed the piece that they gave me, and that, I mean, it's priceless. It's so special. To have something that I'll have and keep forever. It was just a cool moment with the team. All thanks to Rose and Ryan.
Yeah, no, I stopped in there to take a peek, and Rose Wong, like you said, she's such a young, successful businesswoman. And at that event, Ryan had one player on every table with community leaders. And I have to say how impressed I was meeting the men's and women's players, and the questions that they were asking was just phenomenal. I mean, it was so insightful. It was so meaningful, where they're just really trying to network, not just for the present, but for the future. Tell me the impact that has.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's something that when they came to college that they expected to have that type of opportunity. I think when you're a freshman or a sophomore, you come in and you're kind of like, oh, I'm here to play golf and go to school. But clearly we want it to be more than that, and that their futures are important to us. And so to be able to be in front of folks, very successful businessmen and businesswomen, to be able to ask them about their careers and how they have become so successful, just gives them a sneak peek into the future and what they need to do in order to be successful like these folks. And we're prepping them now. We're saving them tons and tons of time. And when they graduate, they'll be ready. They'll be ready to go out into the community. They'll be able to go to an interview, be dressed appropriately, ask good questions, and interview well. And they're way ahead of the game. And that was the point. It was awesome.
We're totally preparing them for the future. And Coach Julie, I want to ask you about the past. What's a big adversity or a big challenge that you dealt with in your life personally?
Yeah, in 2015, I was 50 years old, and the doctor said, well, it's time for, a colonoscopy. And of course, I was like, uh-oh, I've heard about those, and they're not pleasant. And so I went in November of 2015. I went to get my first colonoscopy, and the doctor, I was actually awake for most of it, and the doctor stopped the procedure and said that there was an issue. And I was like, I was kind of drowsy, but I understood what he was saying. So it turned out that I had stage 1 colon cancer. And it was a shock. And it was something that I was, like, uh-oh. Fortunately, I was at UC Irvine, which has fantastic doctors, and I had surgery. They were able to remove that part of the colon, and I didn't have chemo or radiation. They got it all in one surgery. So I really got lucky. And I know now they've lowered the age for colonoscopies, which is great. But it seems like it's happening more and more to folks. So I'm kind of hoping they even lower that to age 40. It's at 45 right now. But yeah, that was something that, I'm coaching. I had to tell my team, my administration, but the support that I got from everyone was tremendous. And I feel very fortunate and very lucky to have, it wasn't like a stage 3 or a stage 4. So the timing was good. But I had fantastic doctors and fantastic support. And it was a shock to my team at the time at UC Irvine. But we all rallied, and they came to the hospital and brought me balloons and all that kind of stuff. So, it's a life lesson on both sides, not only for me as a coach, but for players to be like, oh, hey, things happen. And you have to learn how to deal with them.
Well, Coach Julie, that's the importance of doing the colonoscopy, and fortunately, it was only grade 1, stage 1. So happy that everything is completely, cancer is gone. And Coach Julie, I want to ask you one more thing before we wrap up. When you reflect back on your life so far, what's a valuable lesson you've learned?
There's probably a couple. But I think really, when we've been talking about character and integrity and things like that, I was fortunate enough to have a swing coach that had impeccable manners. Impeccable. And that stuck with me. That has stuck with me. I think she was teaching me when I was around 18 or 19 when I was getting back into golf. So it's been a while. But that's always stuck with me, to have impeccable manners. And that's something that has, I think, it's gotten me a long way. I've obviously, I have experiences that have, I've gotten jobs as a result of my knowledge and experience. But I think too, the manners and and having impeccable manners, has gone a long way too. And it's something that I try to instill in the players as well. That sometimes people will hire you because of really who you are, and they can teach you the rest. And that's something that has stuck with me. Thankfully, I was able to have that swing coach that provided the lesson.
I love it. Impeccable manners. Coach Julie, you are someone that truly cares about your players and your team, and I can see how they care about you, and it goes both ways. And you are a fantastic leader, and I want to thank you for taking time to join me on the show today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. It's such an honor to be on the show. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Coach Julie. And thank you for watching Beyond the Lines on ThinkTech Hawaii. For more information, please visit rustykomori.com, and my books are available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. I hope that Coach Julie and I will inspire you to create your own superior culture of excellence and to find your greatness and help others find theirs. Aloha.
Thank you so much for watching ThinkTech Hawaii. If you like what we do, please like us and click the subscribe button on YouTube and the follow button on Vimeo. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and donate to us at thinktechhawaii.com. Mahalo.